I stand before you today to lend my voice to the call, not only for an end to the brutality and savagery in the pursuit of human intelligence, but for the legitimate, legal, and necessary investigation into allegations of violations of the law, and, if possible, the prosecution of those responsible. Now, this may seem like an odd position for an interrogator to take. Not only an interrogator, but someone who worked at places like Gitmo, Bagram, and, of course, the infamous Abu Ghraib prison in Iraq. One would think that such a fellow as I would be the last person calling for a cross-agency inquiry into wrongdoings at these locations and others over the last 7 years. But I tell you today, that is exactly the exact thing that people like me in our profession need. And it's not just for an accountability sake, it's for national security. Let me explain. In order to have the best intelligence, you have to have the best intelligence system. We didn't have that system at Gitmo or at Abu Ghraib. And years later, we are still far short of any form of excellence in human intelligence, of which interrogation is a part. Now, why is this? Most of our leaders still do not understand the nature of the breakdown in our system. Of course, they've passed laws, signed executive orders, that forbid torture, abuse, or the humiliation of prisoners. And that's a good start, but it's a start. It still does not fix the causal nature of the problem. And I fear that without a proper cross-agency review of actions in interrogation and detention following 9/11, it will be a very, very long time before we truly reacquire an elite interrogation corps capable of protecting you, your friends, and your family. And that's our job. I know. I just came from an assignment overseas, and I can tell you honestly that we have a long way to go. The system truly needs our help. Now, some people say that we have to be tough with these terrorists. They say that they deserve what they get. They say that after 9/11, the rules changed. Well, I say they couldn't be more wrong. That isn't interrogation. That isn't even intelligent intelligence. It's just plain bullying. And it weakens our country. So, what makes for good interrogation? First, you need a good interrogator. And good interrogators have certain virtues in common. Here are a few of them. First, a keen intellect, an outgoing and friendly nature, a gift for the gab, empathy, and an innate curiosity in almost everything. Now, where does torture fit into that mold? Where does abuse fit into that repertoire? It doesn't fit anywhere. In a truly professional and elite interrogation corps, the only thing that matters is the caliber and character of the interrogators. And it doesn't matter if I'm interrogating a suspected al-Qaeda terrorist or your children. It is my ability to reach across the table and delve into their mind with a keen sense of understanding that will ultimately get to the real intelligence. This is a battle of wits, not of willpower to withstand suffering. Now, throughout history, whether it's the Soviets or the North Koreans, the Nazis, or even as far back as the Salem witch trials or the Spanish Inquisition, the evidence is there. And it's been brought up to you time and time again that torture fails time after time. It is a tool of impatient buffoons, of ignorant clods, and insolent sadists. And it is, unfortunately, the exact direction that some people thought we should take. They were wrong. They broke the law. And it is our duty to hold them accountable. and we make sure that the people who replace them understand the right way to get the real intelligence and not some wild goose chases that lead us halfway around the world grabbing the wrong people in the middle of the night. Because that's what happens when you follow the torture road. You may be aware that we signed and ratified the Geneva Conventions. You may also be aware that we actually hold the Geneva Conventions on American soil. We are the protectors of the Geneva Conventions. And we've also signed and ratified the Convention Against Torture. Now, these documents not only outlaw cruel and inhumane treatment of all prisoners, but they obligate the signatories to investigate and prosecute all allegations of violations to these laws. We have to investigate. We must investigate. Not only does our conscience dictate an investigation, the law requires it. Simple as that. I don't care if you're Republican or Democrat, if you're a Marxist or you're independent American. This is not a Republican or a Democratic issue. This is not a conservative or liberal issue. All Americans should support the rule of law in our country. All Americans should demand the investigation of anyone suspected of breaking the law. Or should we make an exception? Should there be some people who are above the law?
No. Me.
If so, what does that make us? A nation ruled by law or ruled by men who can shirk their duties to the American people. You need to decide that. Your friends need to decide that. The people who aren't here but may be listening have to decide that. What country are we? This is what I'm fighting for. It's what Rocky's fighting for. It's what all of you are fighting for. But we can't do this alone. We need you. It's your voice that counts, not mine. I've been talking about this for years. It's your action that speaks volumes to the people in Congress and in the White House. And it's your power to do the right thing, which is so desperately needed. So pick up that phone, call your representatives, demand that they have an across-the-board review, write to the newspapers, volunteer your time with this group, volunteer your time, no matter how short. Everything you do today and tomorrow echoes to the world and to your future generations. Thank you. God bless you. God bless the United States.